when I point the finger at you, I've got 3 more pointing back at me. People have called me a late bloomer, specifically starting from when I had speech impediments. But then we look at this sucker. This is like one massive tadpole. It looks almost as if it's a stingray that is in an adolescent stage, but this is unmistakably an adult. One thing I find really in particular, adult heads, even on midgets, they're full size. And this guy has like an adult head, so you know that it's not a stingray infant because of that. Its build. And you can see this on shoulders of people because we're closely related to apes. And so apes have strong arms, and that's how they survive. And because you can be either full of poison and use that to survive, or you can be brutal in brutalities and use brute force, which gorillas, of all the brute force animals that lay hands on their enemies, but gorillas also have really sharp fangs too, so, but they don't have any poison. But the main thing here is that, yeah, the frame, you can look at the main frame and tell if someone's an adolescent or an adult, the same way that this can't be mistaken for a stingray, because of its head looks like a rat. A rat has a head that looks this big, so does snakes. Snakes have the head that looks like this. Or later, it's kind of like how a rainbow is like of rainbow colors, and then in a diamond, it has a diamond. It has a diamond color sparkle, and that's called topaz. This is gonna trigger a whole bunch of people, and I tip my hat to you, because I can only speak for myself. That, you know, I've got like a broken I have like a few broken bones, and I would like them to like fuse with the mRNA technology so that they wouldn't hurt and I wouldn't get arthritis and one of my tendons that a teacher pulled. But where this is going is people who are born handicapped, they're gonna say, well, this mRNA technology is gonna give them the ability to walk again. So who's to say that you're scrutinizing a person who came up with this technology if you can see and look what it just did? But God said he'll never give anything harder for you in your life that you can't handle. And I know that's another slap in the face, because some people take their life because it's too hard. And so I can only speak for myself, and this is my stance on those extreme radical technology topics. You know, there are some people who have been injured and they can't have children anymore, and they would want to tie the knot, but they can't. And magically, this RNA, the mRNA technology, is going to allow you the ability to give birth again and have children. And so, you know, then they take it and that they're alive in order to have the children. And that's, you know, I can't speak on that at all, because I feel quite the opposite, as that is your ability to think and do. I gotta say, I can only speak for myself. And I don't think that mRNA technology giving you the ability to do that is the right thing to do. But then people kill the fetuses because they do it, and they want to untie the knot. So, you know, this tie knot, untie it. It can give you a artificial knot and have you happy with that. I'm opposed to anything unnatural. It's closed and it's unable to be opened again. And they would say through the little hole, I'm not going anywhere, I'm right here. The scenario, so close but so far away, is inevitable if you can't see the construct of the situation through airwaves or deep sea ocean, and across the land from sea to shining sea. In order just to, like what LGBT movement is doing, they're seeing how many different types of transgender there are from an individual standpoint, you having a different assortment of hormones. Well, they're seeing how different it can occur to getting into the middle of the sweet spot where you're not one or the other, but there's infinite amount of differences. If you're trying to be like a hermaphrodite, that's where you get two of the same thing at the same time, and if that's like the perfect target, scientists would be aiming for a perfect target to see every single thing that a DNA chooses to be. And this is one thing, a tangent that I'm speaking of, but it's quite literal that you don't want to be a part of an infinity. You don't want to be staring into the abyss, or you turn into the abyss. I'm not an advocate of infringement. Hell, I'm going around documenting rainbows, and for safety precautions, safety first. This is like a piece of glass. The hell with it. This is what. Yo, topaz in a square. Yo. So I'm not a non-profit, and I don't like to even think of profits because Jesus was the only one. I understand rank and file, and I like that, but I know if shit hits the fan, the president's going underground, the police will probably buckle because they'll be hit with so many false flags, and the army will get gaslit and be sipped on the people to make them stay inside their homes. Anyway, that's what we're trying to avoid, and that's been closer than ever that people have blown gas canisters, the police, and making people stay inside their houses during the lockdown. Okay, so what am I against? I'm against walking through fields that you substantially could get bit by a snake. Okay, this is equal to swimming in deep water. I don't like to go in the ocean past my chest, because if a shark bites you, it's dragging you down. But if it does drag me down, I'll be able to push off the sand with my other foot and have a fighting chance. I don't like stepping on glass, which was why I'll never walk on the beach in barefoot, because I've stepped on glass and I never want that to happen again. So I'm always looking at shiny objects on the road. I don't want to get my car hit by a piece of broken glass. The tire will fall, and I had that happen, and people I know have been killed in vehicles more than anything else. The other thing, but if it can happen, it will happen. That's like Moore's law. And so, but if you always think that something bad's gonna happen, it will more likely happen. So avoiding that, and then understanding how like your spine is a S curve. And the more that you have bad posture, the harder it is to breathe, because your windpipe is being closed. And when people nod off, when their body's shutting down, their air pipe sometimes closes, and that's what causes them to suffocate to death without even knowing, because they're nodding off. Nod off if you go into shock, so anyone can get shocked, so much so that they go into anaphylactic shock, and this can happen for any reason. So there's so many reasons that bad things can occur. So that's why I understand rank and file is so important, to understand the basis, because I also understand that it's more easier to make something crumble than it is to build. And so since we have a fighting chance at not becoming extinct, and I don't want to be a snap artist. The scrapbook where you smash book where you put all these things together, and then that's what the picture is. And it could be like on when you go on Snapchat, and that's what everyone's doing, clips, but then they blend it all together. And so from a director's standpoint, that's like a person saying that you have like not the ability to tie things together. And so what that's saying is like you don't have the ability to tie things together. You need a diamond to have the topaz effect. This is seen even in this over here. The calculators have the thing where it is the same. I'm trying to move so it like gets a different color going. There it is, picking up, and when it spins I don't have to like move, so you can see it changing color if it was spinning. But me moving and it spinning would have had like more of the ease of it showing the different spectrum in it, because then we'd be hitting it upon two vectors of transversal, where it would be having the angular momentum, and I would be having the lateral movement of a linear walking the straight line, which the cops will say that I'm not good at walking a straight line, but then I'm not good at walking in general, so I am always liable for DUI. Black lives do matter, and I understand. I saw a chalk on the road. It said that black people are sacred. They are. They're the first people who were ever people, and even Jesus was black. But China was the first society ever. But we don't want to go back to school and hurt people who don't want to go back to school if they don't agree with China being the first society. That's a new stance that no one even considers when they're considering how important origins are. And my issue is that, stay in your respective corners if you're boxing. It's like, this is how I'm trying to do it, is not infringe upon others. And this is a neutral basis where I'm not pointing fingers. I'm trying to sew everything, and then get at me as I've been pretty lucky because no one's really gotten at me because I don't have any friends and I don't go out except to go to the grocery store, and even that's controversial nowadays.